It's recording. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So.
Is this good?
Yeah. Is that good? Wait. Well, we don't see you. Can you like maybe?
Why don't people need to see me?
We wanted to see you.
No, I know, but just so everybody's here. Okay. Great. So we're coming back. We took our break. The girls told you about the objectives,
Yeah.
which was the internal and external anatomy of the male reproductive system. We're just doing the male for right now. A little bit later, we'll do the female. Also, we said something about the semen, the structure of the semen, what all goes into it. With, I think there was some fructose there. I think there was some alkaline fluid. There was some
Seminal fluid is basic.
Right, the basic fluid, right. And then we talked about the two main glands,
The accessory gland.
which are called accessory glands, which are, can you say which ones they are?
Seminal vesicles and the prostate.
Okay.
In the prostate, right. And then we ended up with talking about, my question was, who makes sperm in the male reproductive system? And you guys said, which is?
Seminiferous tubules.
Seminiferous tubules, right, which are located in the testes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's continue with this kind of theme to talk a little bit more about spermatogenesis.
The beginning of sperm.
Which is
where sperm begins.
Right, and the process of producing sperm. Let's talk a little bit about this, and as we're talking about this, though, it's important for us to make a connection between this new topic of male reproductive system and something that we learned about before. What I'm thinking about before is, let's see, does anybody remember, what was the master endocrine gland? There's a very good connection between the male reproductive system and the female reproductive to a person's endocrine system. Does anybody remember what was the name of this gland?
Not the pituitary.
That was called the master endocrine gland.
The
Not the
thalamus?
Let's see.
The pituitary.
So let's see. I think you hit it right in the head. There was the hypothalamus that was close to the pituitary, and the pituitary, which is called the master endocrine gland. What were you saying? Yeah. So it's the pituitary.
Oh, okay.
Also, we briefly mentioned this. There were such things as there was an anterior part of the pituitary, and then there was the posterior part of the pituitary. I don't want to go too much into this, but remember, for the anterior part of the pituitary, we had a mnemonic for all the hormones that it makes. I think the mnemonic was flat peg. A flat peg. What we need to know for right now about flat peg is what the F stands for and what the L stands for. Does anybody remember?
Anterior, posterior.
What's that?
Is that for the anterior, the posterior, pituitary?
Both of those, both the FSH, because I'm revealing it, and the LH are made by the anterior pituitary.
Anterior. And it was the master endocrine gland?
The master endocrine gland, yes. In addition to producing FSH and LH, it produced lots of other stuff, like growth hormone, or ACTH, or prolactin. It created a lot of stuff. So, but here we need to pay attention to the FSH and the LH. The reason I say that is because both FSH and the LH have to do with, what was that word again that we're trying to figure out about sperm making? Spermatogenesis.
Okay.
LH and FSH play critical roles in spermatogenesis.
And FLH?
It was FSH. FSH stood for follicle stimulating hormone. And LH stood for luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing.
Okay, I think I saw it on the side.
Did you see it? Yeah. Luteinizing hormone.
Well, what does that do?
Oh, great question. What does it do? We're going to go talk about spermatogenesis, and as we figure out how. Yeah, but I'm just repeating what I said. Yeah, as we're going through the process of spermatogenesis, and we figure out, well, how is it that sperm grow up? How are they nourished? When are they released? When we're asking questions like this, hormones such as FSH and LH are going to play a role. So in just 1 second, we'll figure out what does one do, what does the other do. Okay, so let's maybe move on. Okay, so let me show you a picture from our slides about spermatogenesis, which is here. Okay, so I'm just reading from the slide for this chapter. It says spermatogenesis is the production of sperm cells. We already know that. This process begins with puberty and continues through life. And as we said before, this process occurs in the seminiferous tubules. No surprise there. Boy, this is a complicated diagram here, and let's try to tease out a couple of things from this complicated diagram. First, look at the top of the diagram here, where we have a cross section of some seminiferous tubules. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cross sections of seminiferous tubules, and I think we're going to return a little bit more to the cross section here. But let's kind of see what happens in the seminiferous tubules. As I'm looking at this diagram here, I see something called mitosis and another thing called meiosis. Mitosis and meiosis. My question for you guys about mitosis and meiosis is this. Okay, let me, excuse me, mitosis, meiosis.
Remember those words?
Right, right. You might remember when we were studying those terms before, I said that most cells of the body divide or produce more cells just like them by the process of mitosis. I also compared mitosis to asexual reproduction. Yeah, asexual. But then at the same time I said, but there is something special, a special kind of cell division that is called meiosis. So everybody knows how to spell meiosis, right? M-E-I-O-S-I-S.
Yeah.
Right. And I said that meiosis is an example of sexual reproduction that happens only to eggs and sperm. In other words, whatever we're looking at here about making more sperm, that should be done by meiosis. Meiosis. Okay, so that's how spermatogenesis works. By meiosis to produce more sperm. My question to you guys is this, though. You have a question?
No.
Yeah, my question is this. We also before said something like this, that human cells have 23 chromosomes. Right, but then in every cell of our body, there are actually 2 copies of the gene. So while we have 23 chromosomes, we really have a double of that.
So each cell has 46?
So is that true? Each cell has 46 chromosomes.
True.
Yes. And the name for this, when a cell has a full complement of genetic material, chromosomes, this is called diploid. In the class before, I think I wrote the number 2n.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2n, but next to 2n, I want you to write the word diploid. Diploid. Meaning has diploid meaning has the full amount of genetic material. Okay, so diploid. So all cells of our body are diploid, except those cells that undergo meiosis. So somebody remind me again, which are the 2 special cells in our body that undergo meiosis?
Eggs and sperm.
The eggs and sperm. So now that we know this, what do you guys think is the ploidy? Ploidy meaning, are they 2n or they 1n of eggs and sperm? If you're not sure, let's look at the picture. In the picture, we see that the stem cells the parents of all sperm are actually diploid. They have a full amount. But after these stem cells go through a little bit of mitosis, then they go through a little bit of meiosis, and another little bit of meiosis. What happens in the end to these early sperm? What ploidy do they have?
One.
One. So, okay, and give me that in human terms. We said if there's 46 in the
Yeah, 23.
adult, so they have 23.
Mhm.
So you're saying that all of these sperm that have just been made, because of mitosis and meiosis, they end up with having just half of the genetic material that every other cell has.
Yeah, because each parent gives 23.
Yeah, right. Maritza, that's a good point. That makes sense, right? Because when the male and female come together, when conception needs to take place, half of the genes of the new baby come from the sperm, the male. The other half come from the female, the egg of the female. Very good. Yeah, we're gonna see the egg and the sperm in a second. Okay, so that's good. So that's part of what happens during spermatogenesis. I would say you reduce the ploidy of the spermatogonia, and you form half haploid sperm cells that have only 23 chromosomes.
Oh, it's haploid. I was thinking, what's the name of the single end? So 2 ends diploid?
2 ends is diploid. You can remember haploid by like half,
Yeah.
right? It's half. Yeah, yeah. And by the way, the prefix di means 2. So that's another way to remember it. Okay, guys, so that's that. Now, this is all wonderful and good. In addition to this, though, I want to continue thinking about hormones. FSH, LH, testosterone. Please write that down. So FSH, we just talked about FSH. Then there is LH. And then there's something called testosterone. I want to see how these hormones play a role in spermatogenesis and a little bit later we'll see the tremendous role that the hormone testosterone has on many things. Let me pause for a second. What is the role of testosterone for the man?
It helps to produce masculine characteristics.
Masculine characteristics, such as what? You're right.
Deep voice.
Deep voice, okay.
Mustache.
Okay, oh, you mean the special kind of hair growth that
Right.
men have that women don't?
Mhm.
The beard, of course, the hair,
Mhm.
the hair pattern,
The hair.
the baldness. Okay, hair, yeah. Do we talk about that men have different hair from women?
No.
They have different hair because, I think I mentioned this before.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Was
men
I
have what's called
sleeping?
terminal hairs. Men have something called terminal, long, coarse hairs. Women have short,
Baby hair?
fine. It's not baby hair that women have, but short, very kind of slender, called vellus hairs. But anyway, not to go too far off. Right, so that's
Women
those.
have
Venus.
vellus hair.
Vellus, the women have vellus, right. Right, so there's difference in this. What else? What other differences, I guess, in the physique of males?
Helps to build muscle too, right?
Men have bigger muscles.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
the bones aren't big.
The bones. Okay, the bones are heavily influenced by the hormone testosterone. Part of the reason boys grow taller than girls is because during their puberty, the hormone testosterone
Gives it a boost.
goes into overdrive and causes, remember that epiphyseal plate stuff? Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. It goes into overdrive and makes it grow taller. Right. Okay, so that's pretty good. Those are some of the things that testosterone does. Remember, testosterone doesn't just affect sexual function. Even though testosterone affects your sexual function, your sexual thoughts, your ability to mate, or desire to mate, it affects that too. But other things in the body, the metabolism, the growth of muscles, all of that is affected by testosterone. When we talk a little bit later about the female,